I won't show whole procedure of the regulation on the bench today. I would like to show, or I will show some tips if you do bench work or pre-regulation work at home or at workshop before returning to the piano. So basically, this bench regulation is happening when picking up from the piano or for servicing or major work, then working in a workshop with the bench, and then returning to the piano and then set up to the piano. So hopefully with these tips, you can get better preparation for at the bench, and then you need to do so much thing in the piano. For example, in my case, I normally don't regulate so much in the piano, like only one hour. I just make sure the hammer spacing is correct, and just quick let off and drop and spring, just checking those things. And I normally don't touch key leveling and key depth and after touch, because with this method, it's pretty accurately I could prepare on the bench without piano, basically. But of course, you need to prepare to make that happen. The watch points is a difference between actual key bed and workbench. So key-related adjustments may get wrong if adjusting them without precaution. So we need to prepare your workbench as if in the piano, as better as possible. And next, some regulation items need to be adjusted in the piano: hammer spacing, let off, drop, stop, key level, deep. Basically. But some regulation items C can be adjusted as final quality on the bench, like jack height, jack placement, and so on. Weapon spacing, or those stuff. You don't have to adjust in the piano because you can get a good level of quality on the bench. And set regulation gauge like this one to the original string heights. So these 4 points, if we mind to get, we can reach the best possible preparation result. So first, I'm not sure. So first, before or when you picking up the action, we need to get string height from key bed. So then we can produce the same height at the bench in your home. And for measuring that, I'm using square gauge with normal ruler. Of course, several other options are available. So set square gauge on the key bed in the piano, actual piano. Then, so 15 centimeters line is here, 15 centimeter or 150 millimeters. Then this normal 15 centimeter ruler, just sliding up to touching string. So you can get the height of 15 centimeter plus 7.2 centimeter, for example, in this case. So string height is 22.2 millimeter, something like that. And then you can get like this. So maybe 3, maybe in this case, maybe measure here, measure here, measure here, or maybe 2, both each side of 5 sections. And then that with that measurement at home, you can set this regulating gate to certain height, that same height as in the piano. Yeah, probably I'm using this because I had these ones. So Alternatively, you can get tape measure style of something. Yeah, going up here, and then you can read the things down bottom here, or something similar you can find out by yourself. Yeah, so setting up string height is one point for the bench work, and also adjust the key of bedding screw or the making same condition of key frame as say as same as key bit is important, and especially with key bedding screw. So this is the suggested procedure. A produce workbench as close to the original key bit as possible. So with bedding screw, I normally take the measurement of key level, maybe both sides and center. Yeah. And I loosen up all bedding screws. Do not forget hidden bedding screws. Then measure again here and here. Normally, for example, Yamaha, it was 64 millimeter from key bed to underside of key top. And after losing floating key bed bedding screws, they went down to 62.5 or 6.63 or something. Yeah, so I don't care so much about previous 64 or something. I care so 60 how much down the measurement of bedding screw was affected like this. Yeah. So measure key level in the piano by bedding screw floated before picking up. Yeah, and possibly you can check front rail and back rail floating, or just touching to the key bed at the same time. Yeah, then and then bring back to the bring to your workshop, and then put on your workbench, and then measure key level without, of course, bedding screw, touching the bedding screw. If you find same figures in the piano, for example, 60.2.5, 62.8 up there, for example, your bench is relatively usable. I mean, bedding screw is floating anyway, and front rail, back rail touching, for example, it's quite similar condition in the bench. But if bedding screw was not loosened up, it's totally different story. Yeah, so yeah, my way of setting up the ground regulation is like this, just floating and make sure same measurement of key leveling on the bench of your on your workbench. Yeah, and I believe if you use this kind of unsolid, very soft ones, I can't, of course, do that. But if you do not that one as well, but that's a reasonable workbench, probably you find just same as in the piano. Yeah, it's relatively flat, and front rail, back rail touching, and then center balance rail floating. Yeah, that's where I'd like to see. Yeah, if you found different measurement, you need to adjust somehow. So, for example, if a key level is maybe less than in the piano, even bedding screws floating, you may pack something down here to bring up front side, for example. If 0.5 mil, putting 0.5 mil paper here, for example. I'm not sure. I've never had that problem, so I didn't think about. I've never done that adjustment. It's quite, yeah, easily you can get same or very similar adjustment. Yeah, anyway, so with this, I'm talking about key leveling and key depth at this moment. So with floating bedding screws, I just do key level to 63.8 or 64 or somewhere there. Yeah, aiming like if you're looking at like Yamaha standard key leveling 64 millimeter, maybe just adjust 63.5 or 63.8 or something with floating bedding screws. Yeah. Then you can adjust. You are adjusting key bedding screw in the piano until knocking disappear, and plus a little bit. Then key leveling will be going up a little. Maybe depends on your favorite tightness of bedding screw. If the kawaii style, that's just touching a little, you may 6.3.8, and then final result will be 64. And if you go maybe Yamaha Stanley style, a bit stronger bedding, maybe you go 60.5 first on the bench, then you can get 64. And if you adjust bedding screw in the piano relatively well, it's all key front is going up equally to certain the height. So probably, yeah, 64.1, 64.2, maybe doesn't matter. Yeah, and normally I adjust for 64 on the bench, and then 64.3 to 6.5 in the piano in the final adjustment. Yeah, and then I just look through there and then just check measurement. It's normally fine. I don't touch key leveling in the piano, and I use more time to voicing or more important stuff. Yeah, and key depth, for example, I just minimum, very small after touch on the bench, and then bring up bedding screw. You can get reasonable after touch in the piano. So yeah, this is key level, key depth. Yeah, so small. Yeah, on the bench, just going to small, just small. But in the piano, after adjusting bedding screw 0.4, 3 to 0.5 millimeter more, you can get leveling. So it's going to medium key depth. Okay. And of course, you need to adjust finely key depth.
Your global
if possible, yeah. But in my case, again, I don't adjust key depth so much in the piano, because relatively nice medium after touch already, and then. Yeah, so this is my style of key leveling, key depth adjustment for pre-regulation. So point is the adjusting on the bench with floating bedding screws. But without bedding screws, like this one, for example, might be a little bit tricky. You can't do same as this bedding screw stuff.
You can still measure the keys.
Yes.
It will give you an idea still.
That's right. Yeah.
So it's a good way of doing it because of the exaggerated leverage points.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So you may have to adjust with some thin paper, putting under here or under there or under there to get a correct same key level as in the piano. Yeah, as far as you can get that same height with some packing under the balance rail. Probably that works for the piano. Or maybe slightly different. In that case, you need to unfortunately adjust key level checking in the piano more aggressively.
Or you could create a regulation bench, which you can screw down or up parts of the bench to recreate some of that.
And someone I think is selling the adjustable grand bench. It's quite expensive.
That's hugely complex.
Well, it's actually not as complex as you'd think, because I've got a guy welding one up now, and I'll show it to you.
Okay.
Okay?
Demo.
I will demo now.
Yeah, but anyway, so that probably reducing adjusting time of key leveling, key depth in the piano after delivery or after bench work. That would be better. I think getting more time to do more important work. At the customer hands. Especially voicing. Anyway, so just quick. So I already mentioned about this B and C. Just master adjusting the piano items roughly on the workbench. So key leveling, key depths, hammer stop, let off, drop, hammer spacing, and after touch, and so on and so on. But of course, key leveling, key depths, as I said now, if Yamaha style or key bedding style, the action actually it's getting really precise adjustment already. So probably you don't have to adjust these key leveling in key depth in the piano. But of course, hammer stop, let off, drop, hammer spacing, after touch, you need to adjust precisely in the piano. But as far as adjusting with the workbench and regulation gate with precise key string heights here and here, then adjusting, like for example, let off like 2 millimeter, 3 millimeter, 2 millimeter, 3 millimeter, whatever your favorite measurement. Normally, I don't see so much change in the piano. But of course, string height itself is slightly different, not straight line like this, like the fatter core, fatter wire here, and I'm getting thinner and thinner and thinner. That is not straight line, so you may have to adjust, or maybe just confirm in the piano, and then need final adjustment. But as far as you get a good letting off drop on the bench, you don't have to do in the piano so seriously. And some people in Japan, back to in Yamaha, for example, some people set this this line to the let off line, for example. So say if this height, string height was 210 millimeter, set 207 millimeter to get 3 mil let off, for example. That is Yamaha standard. So that is possible, but that has a bit of problem because the felt fiber pushes a little bit too more, then the hammerhead is like this, and then the wooden edge is here. And then if filing is really rough and like very fine fiber is coming off from the hammerhead, and then adjusting the let off to set this line, for example, you may experience, even you got more and more less off, maybe say less let off and less let off, but a hammer line doesn't reach this rail, because the hammer forced return by these fibers. That's why I set exact string height, and then keep 3 millimeter or 2 millimeter or 1.5 millimeter, whatever the length.
You could embed some little magnets underneath the plywood,
This here,
and then magnetise some thickness of little magnetic strips for the thickness you want your lead off. Just pop the strip on, do your lead off so you actually feel it in the key, really even. Just you know, you feel the jacks escaping.
So you feel this fiber touching to that magnet rail?
Yeah, well, we've seen it demonstrated in especially uprights. You just put the little strips of magnetic material for whatever thickness you want the set off, and then push the key down until the hammer's just got a certain amount of feel at the let-off point, and you can create a very, very consistent result.
Yeah.
But you could do that on that.
Yes, understand.
On this, yeah.
Understand. I'm just wondering, this small rough fiber prevents adjusting correctly.
Yeah, but it's going to be the same right across the piano, isn't it?
Yeah, basically.
On a, say, a newish instrument, it's probably going to be consistent anyway.
Yeah, that's possible. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. I prefer I prefer adjusting 1 millimeter clearance or 2 millimeter clearance instead of adjusting to that line.
Yeah, but how do you, what do you put in to measure it?
I don't know, the eyes.
Oh, you just look at it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, just look at it. Yeah, because we are technicians.
You got
we
very...
need we need to gauge of something in the eye.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's of course, like 2 millimeter, something like that. No one says this, that should be 5 millimeter. No, I don't think so. Normally, we recognize this is 1 millimeter or maybe 2 millimeter. Yeah, we don't confuse 1 millimeter to 5 millimeter. No. Yeah, so trust your eyes, or I don't. You can use that method to just adjusting to that line or something. That's fine. Yeah, that's fine. In my case, I don't believe, or I don't trust myself to get precise adjustment by that way because of this fiber and things. Yes. So I preferred 2 millimeter gap, for example. Yeah, that's all.
That's all right.
Yeah. Anyway, so the last one doesn't change in the piano items. It just adjusts on the bench as close to as possible. That's all. Yeah. Anyway, I'd like to show some actual adjustment, but probably I stop now at 5:30. Yeah, and then still probably we can do committee meeting, I think. And then if we need more time, we need to get an earlier time tomorrow night.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.